Our software is called Ignition, and it's an unlimited platform for enterprise integration, industrial applications, and more. Ignition acts as a central hub for everything on the plant floor and beyond. It's web-based, web-managed, and web deployable to desktops, industrial displays, and mobile devices. It has an unlimited licensing model, it's cross-platform, and it offers industrial strength, security, and stability. And all of this empowers you to build any kind of industrial application, whether you need SCADA, MES, IoT, or another type of solution. It starts with Ignition. So let's get into drawings. So drawings before Ignition 8.3, as of Ignition version 8.0, users could upload and embed SVG files, which the designer calls drawings, into Perspective. If you wanted to edit that drawing, you could use the property editor to browse the element structure, modifying shapes and creating bindings as needed. This was often a difficult and tedious process because you had to navigate through the structure and guess at which element corresponded to which shape on screen. Adding a new element was also difficult because you had to remember the structure of each object type in a drawing, such as whether a property is named X or CX for a circle. The easy method was to bypass creating a drawing within Ignition and use an external third-party tool to create an SVG, then import it to Ignition. However, that still had limitations since any edits needed to be made externally and re-imported or through the methods that I just talked about. Now, Ignition version 8.3 adds a fully featured SVG editor, which we call the drawing editor, to Perspective. If you're transitioning to Perspective from Vision, the drawing editor may feel very similar to Vision's drawing tools. With the new drawing editor, it is much easier to create and customize drawings, especially since you can select objects just by clicking on them. So on the screen, you can see a screenshot of the drawing editor. If you look along the left side, there are tools to add different shapes like rectangles, circles, lines, stars, or polygons. You can also add text, draw freehand, or draw paths by clicking each point. Along the top, there are options for copying, pasting, duplicating, ordering objects forward and backward, grouping or ungrouping objects, converting shapes to paths, or some more advanced features such as masking and clipping or making text follow paths. On the right side is your Design tab, which shows properties for the currently selected shape or shapes, and a Settings tab to adjust the settings for the drawing canvas or to turn on a helpful grid and snap into grid or objects. Users can use the drawing editor to create drawings from scratch and modify them, making completely custom objects for your use cases, all without leaving the designer. Or you can use the drawing editor to customize existing symbols in Perspective, such as the motor, the pump, sensor, valve, or vessel. So like I've mentioned, users can use the drawing editor to create just about anything they can imagine to customize their project. So here's a quick example of creating a new drawing from scratch. You can drag in a drawing component from the Perspective component list on the right, then right-click and hit Drawing. In this example, which is all in real time, the user dropped in a few different shapes, selected them all, and changed the color at once. Pretty neat. And then you can also edit an existing drawing. Here's an example how easy it is to customize built-in symbols using the drawing editor. Because of the way the designer uses the built-in symbols, we first need to right-click the symbol and convert it to a drawing, and then right-click again, and then click Edit Drawing to open it in the drawing editor. So once we are in the drawing editor, you can select any of the different shapes within the drawing itself and edit properties or create bindings on them. You can either select them from the elements list on the right side or by clicking directly on the shape that you want to edit. Either way, it will highlight the shapes so you can see exactly what you have selected. However, if you do edit built-in symbols this way, any bindings that had been configured already will need to be redone. and the resulting drawing will lose the ability to switch between different styles, such as mimic, simple, PNID. So keep in mind that whatever style the symbol is currently in when you convert it to a drawing is what you will be able to edit. Bindings. Most properties of drawing elements can have bindings, such as fill color, stroke color, and weight, or the text inside of a text box. The drawing editor uses the normal binding editor, so there's no need to get used to a different interface. And it also means that there are no special limitations to drawing elements on what kind of bindings are available for you to use. The ability to leverage bindings within the editor means that you can bind as you design. So, for example, you want to bind the state of an alarm to the fill color of the drawing. You can do that within the binding editor to test as you design. And you can also edit and bind to additional properties other than the ones listed on the editor through the respective property editor.